Hi, I'm Janet. After years of trying to figure out the film industry, making some gains, only to see them dwindling away, I finally got my shit together and I made $85,000 my first year in the film industry in Los Angeles. Creating a career in film does not need to be a struggle. You can start in your city. I want to teach you my process and teach you how to do it. You'll see that you really can live that extraordinary film lifestyle that only the film industry can provide. Let's go. Now I'm going to bring Uriel down with me. I think we're going to go over your pictures first, and then you're going to help me contribute to this lesson because I know that you know what we're talking about here. Okay, this is Uriel's post in Yammer. And as what typically happens, we start. We hear from a lot of people when they first start and they're posting a lot, and then everybody gets busy. And they, then they stop posting. And then then they're like, hey, I'm doing all these amazing things. I'm like, post in Yammer, let everybody know. And then that's why you see these posts where people are like, this is what's been happening in my life. So thank you for doing that. Great. So you'll see if you look up Uriel's name, you'll see where he posted before when you had just started and you won an award for a film festival for production design. Mm-hmm. And you were pretty much like, I can't believe this is happening. I'm so excited about this. And from that, you're like, I'm a production designer. I'm an art director. This is what I'm meant to do. I'm so excited. I found my calling. Let's go. And whatever problems would come up on set, you're like, well, let me see it. Let me try to solve it. Let's try this. Let's try this. Try this. And because of that, you got another job, and you're working as a production designer on a paid feature film next year. Do you know what the budget is of that, or what the how long it is?
It is a low budget. It's an indie film. Mm-hmm. I actually have a meeting for that later today. So yeah, that's exciting. But it's funny actually because on my previous post, the one about the when I made the video, I talked about how I got one of my friends into a paid short that I just got into. It was like my first time being paid as a production designer, and it was with a fellow mentor from Friends in Film. He was the producer for that short.
Oh, who is that?
Yeah, it was Anton Church. It was like just an amazing experience. It was awesome.
Wait, you worked with Anton Church?
Yeah, I worked with Anton. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
I'm working with him again in January, I think.
Oh my God. This is Anton. This is Captain Blanket, you guys. Isn't he? He's just like a Captain Blanket, isn't he?
He's amazing. He's like a dad, in a producer position.
Wow. Tell us about the opportunity with Anton Church, who is a producer, who did our program. And he was, by the way, let me just tell you this, you guys. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Okay, I got to tell you a little bit about Anton. Anton started this program maybe 6 years ago. And he was a dishwasher. He had gone to film school. He was a hardworking guy. He was like, okay, I'm trying to get into this business, and I keep seeing, friends in film, and maybe this can actually get me inside and working as a professional in the business. He was working for a production company doing small little marketing videos. So, film school got him there, and that was good, but that was not the dream. The dream was to actually produce and direct on major professional productions. So that's what he used the Friends in Film program for. And he started working as a production assistant, just like all of us, and started working in reality TV and feature films and different stuff. And now he's producing. Now he's first ADing. Now he's directing. And he production supervises. The film industry has taken him all over the world. And he's shot all over the place. He's done all of these Bachelor and Bachelorette reality TV shows, as well as he's produced for Magnolia. And he is somebody that whenever I ask him if he can come and show up, boom, he's there. So he's one of our mentors. So how did that happen with Anton, that you got to work with him?
Well, with Anton, I feel like it was just like something that was meant to be. It's funny because when I was making my Magic List from Orlando. He was one of the first names that I saw because of the, church starts with A. And I was doing checking the list that we have from our from the department here. And I researched all about him, just like all of the other ones from my Magic List. And okay, I had everything saved. So one day I come across a Facebook post from Anton about needing a production designer for this short film. And I'm like, that name sounds familiar. So I check my Magic List because I know it's huge. So I remember everything that I see about him. So I email him, and I know this specific things about him. I know he went to UCF. I live super close to UCF. I have a lot of people who go there, a lot of friends who go there. And I message him my want to work email tailored to him. And I didn't get any response. I believe that at that time he was busy looking for other crew as well. So I didn't get any response. After a while, I check on Staff Me Up, which is also something that I found out about in Friends in Film. And I see a posting there about this film. And it's the same dates, it's the same description. So I figure out that it's the same one. So I email again for Staff Me Up. And then after a while, nothing as well. And I email again. I'm like, okay, well, let's see. I think there is a module that has an email model following up if you haven't heard anything back. So I checked that out, and I used that as an example. I tailored it to him again, and then he gets back to me, and he's like, oh, I was just checking your Staff Me Up submission. It's so good that you reached out to me. And we talk, and I mentioned Friends in Film, and we just talk, and it's just perfect. And he has to see some references. I said it to them. He's like, we set up an interview, and he says that he loves me and I sound like a perfect fit for the job, but he has to talk to the director first because it's the director who is going to approve. Because if you're a production designer, the director is the one who ultimately needs to see if they want the look that you always do, if that's the look that they want for their film. Mm-hmm. So they're the ones who are going to say, oh, yes, I want to work with this person. We work, and they also need a sound person. And I'm really close with the sound guy from here, from Orlando. So I recommend him. And everything goes well. And it was great. It was a great experience. It was, we shot for 4 days. It was 1 day of prep, set building, and then 3 days of shooting. And it was amazing. I really loved it. And the thing is, I recommended the sound person to them. And now this sound person is the one who recommended me for the paid feature next year.
Oh my goodness. See, there's so many lessons in this. This is all also in the training, how I explain that this is how it happens. You do your Magic List. You have this exceptional knowledge, and you're used to researching and finding out about people. So you're doing that. It helps you in that you're doing that for yourself, but also it's impressive to them because they want to work with people that are eager, that are resourceful. Hey, if she found all this out about me, she's going to be great to work with. She is a production designer. I mean, production designers research the crap out of everything and then provide options. Shows me that she's eager, that she's motivated. And so then she uses the want to work email, and it just hits them right. Oh, wow, okay, she sounds pretty good. And then she talks to him. She gets brought in, the job goes great, they need somebody. She recommends a good person that's a sound mixer. Now, you gotta be careful who you recommend, because if you recommend somebody that doesn't do a good job, then that really hurts you. So you got to make sure that it's not too big. When you're meeting people in the beginning, you're meeting a lot of beginning people. So, but again, this is a short, so they're not going to pay like $1,000 a day for a sound mixer. So they want somebody that's good, but that is learning and really diligent and very detail oriented, which is this guy was. And you can see that. So as you're on these shoots, you guys, You're looking for who are the best people and how do they operate? I mean, how do they approach that job? How are they interacting with other people? You're just kind of making a mental note of all of it. And that's what Uriel was doing. And felt comfortable referring him. And it turned out great. And now he is bringing Uriel in. So it's so great. This is exactly how it happens. And the jobs just come from all over the place. People see you. They like you. They like how you work. That's what it always is. Because nobody knows production design job. Not even the director. Not even Antony doesn't know the production design job. Has an idea of it or an impression of it. And that's what's also very helpful is as you're doing the job, just really tuning into what do they want, what makes them feel comfortable, what is some of their concerns about production design that you can bring up front so that they just feel like you're a blanket working with, like you're just like so good to work with. You can watch other people. You can learn this by watching other people, other production designers, which I'm sure you've worked with other production designers and you've seen some good ones. Maybe you've seen some ones that are not so good, right? Yes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you learn from all of them. And you pick up a lot of things, just like how they're organized, what they are doing in the morning to get ready for that shoot, how they talk to their people, how they keep all their people connected, all the little things that you kind of take note of, and then you do it unconsciously. You really will start doing it unconsciously when you tune into it. Okay, so tell us just some of your credits.
Well, when I just started with Friends in Film, I decided to make like some sort of experience list. I've been doing a lot of shorts. I think 8 shorts from OIF at this point.
That's a lot of work. Congratulations.
Yep.
This is great. Okay, so, and are you peppering in there, or do you plan to pepper in there, working in the art department so that you're working underneath some production designers as well? Both.
I've done that. I've done that once. I worked as an art PA. And that was super helpful. Being an art PA, it was like the very next step to me. After being a PA, I knew that I really wanted to be an art PA. And it was awesome experience as well. And I still, if it comes the opportunity for me to be RPA, to be art director, or anything else in the art department, I'd love to do that as well. Because the art department is so big. There are so many things that you can do. If your craft is like art department, that still doesn't really mean anything, because you can be prop master, you can be wardrobe, you can be set decoration, you can do hair and makeup as well, because that's also in the art department. And I'm still like figuring out inside the art department what I want to do as well.
I'm so excited. And you're also giving us a really good example. Here is, you're really like an indie filmmaker, an indie production designer that is just like rolling up your sleeves and taking on anything. And that is so good. And a lot of us want to be that. And what you need to combine with that, and I know that you will, is getting in and working with these big production designers on these bigger budget stuff, because the reason is you will learn from them. But in addition to that, those people will send you work. That's how you're going to get elevated. They will send you the bigger budget jobs. So like next time Anton works on a $1 million feature film, he's going to, he won't be able to hire you to be the production designer for that, because you're not qualified for that yet. But if you go and you are working on other commercials and you're set decorating, and again, remember, people don't know all of these jobs. They just know, oh, she's in the art department and everybody loves her. Then you'll be like, oh yeah, I just worked on this commercial, I just worked on this feature film, and now you're going to be up for that kind of thing, like a much bigger budget thing, because you're also working on the bigger budget productions.
Yeah, I've also PA'd a lot, and I love being production assistant as well. I think it's awesome. I still like do that, and I see myself doing PA even like more in the future, because it's just something that it's such a different experience to me. Because when you're a production designer or art department, it's a lot of pre-production. So it's a lot of work before the shooting event starts. It's a lot of checking designs, of talking to the director, of going to stores, of checking everything out. And when you're PA, it's sort of more, it's just so different to me because I kind of don't really have to do all of this before. I just like go in there on my shooting day and I do all my best on that day. And it's so different to me. It's like, it's just a different experience. And I like doing both. Here in Florida or here in Orlando, we have a lot of events and a lot of commercials. So I've done a lot of that. We also had we have some traveling TV shows that come here a lot. So I've worked for Bigfoot Bucket List as a PA. I've worked for House Hunters as a PA, for Rivalries, TV show from LGTV. So it's been TLC, HTTV, and LGTV, basically. And, and Hulu, the Bigfoot Bucket List. And events, sport events. I've done a karate event recently. It's just like all these like crazy things, like just completely random.
That's what it is. It's what it is. It's so exciting. You never know. The other day I was just like I was thinking about, I've worked with all of these legends, and I'm just like thinking, holy shit, you've worked with Samuel Jackson multiple times. Lizzo, Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie. I mean, it's just like, I've almost worked with everybody, I mean, I remember when I started, I was in a studio with the Rolling Stones. It's like, what? How you get, you get exposed to this because you're doing interviews, you're doing like promotional stuff, you're doing commercials and doing documentaries. Just the most amazing people. I worked with the Guggenheims. I mean, these are like the like legendary people. And I worked directly with Davis Guggenheim for many months and doing the sound for his documentary. And I'm just like, I'm just so grateful for my life. I cannot believe my life. I mean, it was everything that I hoped it would be, but so much more. It's so much more money, so much more excitement, so much more great friends. I just wanted to travel and do film. What I got was the ability to travel and do film, but also this beautiful network of people that I love, that I've grown up with, that, we've all experienced this stuff together, right? Very satisfying. What do you love about the film industry?
Well, there's something that I really love is the friends that I've made. It's just such a nice environment. When you're on set and you're just relying on these people, especially when it's unpaid, when it's like this indie shorts, and everyone's there not for money, just because they're doing what they want to do. And it's just really awesome experience because you see that like people who are there, they really want to be there. And they're like, sometimes they're taking off work, sometimes they're just like, they're traveling half an hour, 1 hour to be there. And just for the experience, for the opportunity just to make a film, just to make something. And then you get together with these people and you spend like 12 hours a day with them, even more. Sometimes it goes into overnight. And it's just such a connection that you make that I can't think of another place or opportunity where I could make such connections. It builds a bond. And it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, 12 hours a day, everybody working together, and, you're hungry, you're tired, you're like, then everybody wakes up because something else happens, and you're just all working for the same thing. And then you see each other maybe a couple months later, like you're going to be working with Anton again. And now the relationship deepens even more. And now you experience all those experiences together. So, and a lot of these relationships that you're starting now, you guys, they're just, we're in them. We're like, oh my God, we might feel overwhelmed, but we're learning so much. And I want you to take pictures if you can, because document those times, because these very beginning times, you'll look back and you'll be like, because remember your first shoots, even if you have some of those pictures, which I think that you do, and it's just like, oh, look at me then. I remember how I felt. I just had hoped that this was all going to work and that I was going to have this amazing life. And I remember I didn't even know how to do this thing with production design, and I did these silly mistakes. And, it's just so fulfilling.
Yeah, I had like my first film here as a PA. It was called The Bagel, and it was such a fun film. We were there 2 days. One day we went into 14, 15 hours, I think, unpaid. Everyone was like dying hungry. And those people, that crew, I still work with them. The sound guy that I met, he's awesome. He has a studio. I met him on that first set, and I'm still with him. I'm still recommending him jobs. He's recommending me jobs, and it's like that first. I look so fondly back on this first shot, this first shoot. It was just so nice, such a nice experience. And it's funny how it's been like not even 10 months for me, and I'm already looking back and thinking about like, oh, those good old times.
Yeah, right? It only been 10 months. So what was your life like before Friends and Film, when you were like, I'd love to get in this business, and how did you feel? And like, describe it now and how you feel.
Yeah, I graduated in film. I graduated in Portugal. I spent, like, after I graduated, I spent 1 year there, totally depressed. I was looking for anything, any job, not even necessarily on the film industry. And it was just so impossible to me. And I couldn't get anything. And I was just like, was my worst moment. And my mom had just moved here to Orlando. So she asked me to come. She was like, oh, United States, you're definitely going to have more opportunities here in your area. So I was like, okay. I mean, I don't have anything to lose, so let me go. And one of my friends in Portugal, she followed Friends in Film. And she recommended me. She said, oh, since you're there, check out this page. And I started checking out. But that was after like 1 year here, because for the first year, I got a job as a receptionist in a children's clinic. And in the beginning, it was like, okay, finally I get something to do. But after a while, it just really wore me off. And it was just, I never wanted to work like in an office. I always wanted to be like creative. Always wanted to, work with art and work with entertainment and all of that. And I was just feeling like I wasn't, living for anything. And that's when I got to the page. And I started going to the Zoom meetings. I started, studying and all of that. And in the beginning, I thought that it would be just impossible to me. Something that I always thought is that, oh, you need like to know someone in film before you can enter it. Oh, you need to have like someone in the family or a really close friend who can get you in. You can never get in by yourself. That's something that was really constantly in my mind. And after some time just like looking at the page and checking the events and all of that and the classes, I decided to really get into the program. I decided that I had to do something with my life, and I couldn't just. It was easy, to just sit there and be like, oh, look at those people working in film. Yeah, they probably have someone in their family. Yeah, they probably have money and got in somehow, and just take that as an excuse and not do anything for myself. So I decided to do something for myself. I got into Friends in Film. And first, another thing that I thought was that I wouldn't have any opportunities here in Orlando because it's not like LA or New York. But I decided to get in anyways. That was one of the big, those two were the big things stopping me from doing film. And those were the thoughts that I had in my head before I signed up to Friends in Film. Was like, okay, I can sign up, but what if there's nothing here in Orlando? But after, during the first month, the first first 2 months, that's when you get into, Facebook, and you look up everything. You look up the film directory from your city. And that's when I was like, oh, wow, okay, there is something going on here.
Get on Shoot's method, he's describing, and the magic list. I want to give you guys a concept that I think is going to be very helpful, because a lot of us are starting this program, and we're coming in with a lot of like concerns. Am I going to be able to do this? Is it going to work for me? Am I going to be able to pay for it? Does it really work like Janet says? Maybe Uriel has got like magic powers, but I'm not sure if I do. So all of these thoughts just seem like, that they could seem true. And at the same time, you have other thoughts too, like, I can do this. I'm ready to do this. That's what I've always wanted. I'm excited about this. So all of the thoughts are coming in all the time, okay? And all of the fear thoughts are mostly being produced by our primitive brains. So we all have a primitive brain, we have a thinking brain. A lot of the fear thoughts, like, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if it's going to work in Orlando, that's just our primitive brain trying to keep us safe. Now, if we listen to that, we're going to quit. If we listen to that, we're going to produce more thoughts that are going to make us want to quit. And then a lot of people can quit from that at that point. One thing I think that can really be helpful to us is to, first of all, realize that if it's a fear thought, then it's coming from your primitive brain that wants you to go back into the cave. Then we also have the prefrontal cortex, which is our thinking brain, that's like, okay, actually, primitive brain, I'm going to parent you now. I know you want us to go back in the cave, but this is where I want to go. This is the life that I want to have. And I'm committing to myself into producing new thinking, because it's very easy to shrink and go back into the cave. But the life that I want to have requires that I use my thinking brain to create something out there in the world, and that's what I'm going to stay focused on. So when we look at the scenarios out there that make us so afraid of trying and putting ourselves out there, oftentimes we're coming up with a very big, broad question, kind of like you did. Like, well, what if there's no work in Orlando? And it's a big, broad question that has no answer. It's a big, open-ended question that has no answer. Or what if I find out that I'm not talented enough? Or what if people don't hire me? What if I can't pay my rent? These big, open-ended questions. And those are coming from the primitive brain, right? And they're open-ended, and we don't answer them, so they just linger there as like being this big concern. And then our bodies actually feel the emotion of fear, and then we think that there's something wrong, and that maybe I should quit, right? Okay, so what I want to offer you guys is to actually consciously take and think of the worst case scenario that could happen, okay? And what we want to do is we want to put that in the circumstance line. The circumstance line is factual. It's non-emotional, okay? Then we have a thought about the circumstance. So the worst case scenario would be put in the circumstance line. So let's just take an example here. Okay, so say we want to post on Instagram, but we're like, what if people laugh at me? What if people judge me? Okay, that's a big, broad question that's coming from our primitive brain, and it's going to make us feel fear. And then we're not going to want to post. So what we want to do, one of the ways we want to work with that is we're going to go to, okay, well, what's the worst case scenario? We're going to put that in the circumstance line, and we're going to do a model on it, a self-coaching model. Your thinking brain knows that posting on Instagram, posting your work, promoting yourself, you want to do that. The evolved part of you goes like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. That's part of the whole formula. That's part of believing in myself. So I really do want to do that. So that's why worst case scenario. What is it? Okay, worst case scenario is that there is a negative comment on Instagram. Okay, so that's how you would actually think of, you look for the worst case scenario and make it factual and make it specific. Somebody comments and says something negative. Now, what we do is we intentionally choose how we want to think about it. We intentionally choose the thought. So this is not going into unintentional thinking. This is actually choosing how we're going to think about that worst case scenario. So how do you intentionally want to think about that negative comment on Instagram that could possibly happen? What's a thought that the evolved part of you would think? The part of you that's doing it. And that would be something like, not everybody's going to like my art, and that's okay. And now you can think of anyone. But it can be like, okay, remember, the circumstance is there's a negative comment on Instagram from something that you posted. And your thought is going to be, well, not everybody is going to like my art, and that's okay. Now, with that thought, you're going to feel empowered. Another thought would be, well, that person didn't like it, but everybody else did. Or it could be, I'm not afraid to post my stuff. This is how professionals operate, and I am a freaking professional. You know, not everybody's going to like it. That's totally fine with me. I think that, you know, it's very helpful to look at the worst case scenario and put that in the circumstance line and then decide how are you going to intentionally think about it. What if they laugh at me? Big open-ended question coming from the primitive brain. What if they laugh at me? Now, what you want to do is put that, what's the worst case scenario? Somebody laughs at me in my face, right? What are you going to think about it? I'm glad that you thought it was happy, but I'm living my best life. How about you? You know, how you going to feel? Like even more motivated. What action you going to take? Like you're going to laugh too, and you're going to keep producing your stuff. And you're like, hey, I'm a badass. That's the result. I'm a badass. So here's another one. Okay, here's one that some of you guys might be thinking right now. What if I try and nothing happens for me? See, it's a big open-ended question that our brain just loves to be just like, yeah, but what if it doesn't work for me? What if it doesn't happen for me? Now, first of all, what does nothing happen mean? Like you're not going to get any work? Do you really think that's possible? So sometimes our brains go wild on these open-ended questions without being specific, it just wants to like produce a fear because your brain wants to keep you safe. So it's like, it likes to throw out these big open-ended questions so that you consider it because, you know, it wants to make sure that you have considered everything. And that's fine. The thinking brain just needs to be in charge before that big primitive brain makes you quit by being so scared about something that it's producing and doesn't have any answer for. So you want to have an answer for it. And you want to have an intentional answer for it coming from your thinking brain. We have a lot of actors here, so let's just do an acting example. I try really hard and I don't get a paid acting role this year. But I try really hard and it doesn't happen. I tried, nothing happens. I tried and I didn't get a paid acting role. What's a thought that would evolve you, that you want to choose, that you want to think consciously? Now, that could be anything, but it could be something like, I learned a ton as an actor. I came so far as an actor. I met so many people as an actor. Instead of, it's not going to work for me, which the primitive brain just wants you, really wants to spin, especially in the middle of the night. Your primitive brain goes wild, but now you're going to be onto yourself, right? Okay, so I learned a ton as an actor. That gives you a feeling of pride, or excitement. Now, from there is how you show up out there in the world. So you keep performing, you keep auditioning, you keep smiling, you keep creating. You are involved in the world. You're meeting new people. You're honing your skills from feeling proud. And then the result is, I'm doing what I love as an actor. I am being an actor. And you're going to then be able to create the situation where you're going to get a paid role. You are going to be getting a paid role. You are an actor. You're providing a very important skill. You're providing something extremely important and integral to production. We need actors. We need actors that have those skills, that have that confidence, that have that belief, that know that they're valuable. You must know that you're valuable. That's why we have to use our brains to generate that pride. You can have your primitive brain and go back into the cave and not do that, and then you're not going to be an actor. Or you can be like, hey, what's the worst case scenario? How am I going to think about it that's going to make me feel like I'm on fucking fire? And let me create this situation. We somehow think that having a big goal, getting paid acting roles on a Netflix feature film, that should be easy, or that should just land in our lap and that we shouldn't feel any negative emotion. But what I want to offer to you is that these self-doubt thoughts that come in, these self-doubt feelings, these negative feelings and the self-doubt thoughts, they're going to come in. Maybe you hear that you need more training and you might be like, oh, see, this is going to take me forever and I'm already getting too old. See, then you might give up. But why would you think that you're not going to ever hear anything negative? Why would you think that it's all going to just totally open up and everything in the world is just all going to come your way? That's not the way that anything big works. We're all going to feel disappointment. We're all going to feel fear. We're going to have stuff happen on set that we don't want to happen. We're going to work with difficult people. We're going to have clashes. We're going to have a producer that doesn't hire you for 20 years and then all of a sudden hires you all the freaking time. So why do we expect it to be easy? And in fact, the amazing people that you grow into comes from adversity. It comes from the negative things that can happen or just the negative thoughts that come in your brain and you solving for it. That's how you turn out to be amazing, is by working with that. How you think is how it's going to go. And you decide how you're going to think, and then that's how it's going to go. It is like the keys to the frickin' kingdom. And we can see a live example right there in front of us with Uriel. Like, I'm going to kill it with this production designer job. It's not that I expect it to be easy or that there's not going to be any problems or I'm not going to feel scared and maybe even fuck up and maybe even have somebody yell at me. Who knows?
I feel like 1 year ago, before I started Friends in Film, I would have adversities, and I was just like thinking about that now, from how you were speaking about like it's not only about career change, but it's about a personal change. It's about like self-improvement. And I used to be just so easy to defeat. I used to be so lethargic. I wouldn't, go for things. And with after all that reinvention process, all the, when you realize the power that you have from changing your thoughts and how that changes your feelings and the actions and the results, when you realize the power that you have with your own head, it absolutely changes you.
You're on to something good, everybody. You're on the right path. You know it. Uriel's our new mentor, by the way. New mentor, Uriel. Yay! Yay! Okay, everybody, have a great day. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening today. And if you have a moment, could you please leave me a review? I would love that. And make sure you head over to friendsinfilm.com/join and sign up for my free mini course on what you need to know to find opportunities and start making film and acting work come to you. I'll see you next week.